which is board action certification, the votes.
Okay.
Sometimes the written thing doesn't totally reflect the discussion. And it's the Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
Did I move aside for all the other?
Oh, you're okay.
Michael's, no, because Michael's gonna be on Zoom, so it's only Hunter and me in person, and Chris on Zoom.
Aren't there more executives though?
And Candace is in Texas on the road between Houston and Dallas, so she will not be.
There's only 5 of you then? On the
Officers.
Officers.
Only 5. So the quorum is 3 out of 5.
I see. And Chris is
An office. Here she is. Chris is an office. So is it, and it's not quite 7 o'clock anyway, so you know, wait a minute or two.
Fortune Society's here.
Yes, they are, but Michael's not. So hi, can we put name to or picture to Fortune Society? Name or picture instead of, because you're not a thing, you're a person. If you want to change your identity. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, your people.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Hello.
Space too.
Yeah,
Loading
cool.
space.
Thank you. So we're gonna get started in, with or without Michael, our vice president, we'll get started in about 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem. Would you prefer for us to stay on camera?
Well, certainly when you're talking to us.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have
sure.
to stay on camera the whole time, but we'll have some introductions as well. So
Okay.
you can go on and off, that's all right.
Okay, cool.
Hi. So Elizabeth is gonna do but we need somebody now, is gonna do the Mexico versus Koreatown
Oh, cool.
watch party. Well, UNNC will have a table on Thursday,
Mhm.
but it'll be in the morning.
Okay.
So, I don't think I can join her. I mean, I have a job. So I'm trying to figure out if we have any other board members. I mean, not that Elizabeth doesn't have a job, but she's a school librarian and school closed last Friday.
I see.
So
Yeah.
she had time.
Where is it again?
The same place as the festival, it's Seoul
Oh.
International
On Thursday?
on Thursday.
I mean, I'm working on Thursday, but I can probably swing by for like an hour or so.
That'd be great.
10 to
because-
2, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I could definitely go around lunchtime at least.
oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I'll try and go like at 10. Get away. Okay, well,
Cool.
hi.
Okay.
I think we can call this meeting to order. Michael, do you want to share it since it doesn't not look like you're driving?
I am not, absolutely. All right, so let's call the meeting to order. I am Michael Soderstrom. I'm the vice president of UNNC. Laura?
Laura Myers, and I am the president of UNNC.
Chris?
You're muted.
I'm Chris Carlson, and I am the area rep for Area 4, and I am. I don't know if I have any other titles that I need to announce, Laura, but
Signatory.
I seem to just.
Yeah, you're going in
Signatory,
and
sorry.
out. Yeah, you're going in and out of what do we call this? Zoom.
Okay, let me see if
don't
I
know
can
if-
make
I
that
don't-
work better.
Yeah, I
Let
don't
me
know if you can talk to Dem, but anyway, we
Okay.
heard you. You're Chris Carlson. You're one of the officers, and we have a couple of guests. Michael here in the
Okay.
room.
Hi, my name's Sun Min Lee. I'm a stakeholder of Jefferson Park, Region 5.
And we have a couple of people from Fortune Society. I don't know if you can see them.
Hello,
Jim.
everybody.
Oh, we introduce ourselves. My name is CJ Sargent, and I'm one of the founders of the Fortune Society.
Same as I'm Mercedes Reyes. Thank you guys for having us tonight.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so I guess with that, we'll do a quick roll and then
I think you did. Oh,
Excellent. So we have quorum. We can start the meeting then. So
yeah. Candace will not be joining us, Michael. She's on the road somewhere between Dallas and Houston. So she's just not going to be here.
Not much going on in them parts. All right. So I guess we'll open it up for general public comments for anything that's not on the agenda. Anyone?
Anybody here? So do you want me to scroll through the agenda so people can see what is on the agenda? So play days on the agenda, MPG for Fortune Society request on the agenda. We have not received the neighborhood council end of year review is on the agenda, though we have not received yet an inquiry from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment asking us to do that, but might want to do it anyway. Have a couple of letters to look at and at least one to approve, and regular executive committee business, approve agenda items for the July meeting, and under newish business, because we've discussed it at some committees but not here, a proposal from Sunmin. I just kind of put a long proposal into a single sentence, a proposal for a Jefferson Boulevard beautification and identity program, a possible spruce up day, you know, to not conflict with what the mayor's Shine LA Day. Maybe a little dissimilar from that, engaging business, but we'll talk about it in the meeting discussion. And then we get to adjourn. Okay, so now general.
All right, you close the you close.
Yeah. So sorry, I can bring it back up.
No, no.
We're at general public comments.
I will open it locally. What it is. I don't think anyone had public comments. Is that correct?
That is true.
Center in the waiting room.
Okay.
Yeah. Next was logistics of UNNC participation in upcoming LA 84 Play Day community event on Saturday, June 27th.
Yeah, I'll just bring it back up. Because I don't have any nice pictures that relate to it. Okay, so I attended the LA 84 Play Day. I'm going to use the word vendor, it's not really the right name, but there'll be almost 50 entities, organizations, including food vendors, food trucks, but mostly organizations that will be presenting activations for children and play, you know, so it's a lot of those, but there'll be close to 50. Very, very tight organization for this event. We already know our booth number and our location, and it'll be Adams Boulevard is closed from Western to Arlington. The event is more between St. Andrews and Cimarron on June 27th. Our booth will be really pretty much right in front of the oil field. So near between St. Andrews and Gramercy on Adams. Those booths that are in our general neck of the woods are supposed to be loading in from St. Andrews side. The booths that are westerly of Gramercy are supposed to be loading in from Cimarron. No one is supposed to be loading in from Gramercy. And yet we were going to try and find some stakeholder or another who lives on 25th Street so we could kind of preload onto somebody's front porch on Friday so we can just pull it in. So I'm trying to work out that piece of the logistics, since we're just rolling in on carts, we're not driving in, if we can just roll in from Gramercy in an ideal world. So so that part's easy. We're also supposed to pre-know who is volunteering and at what time, because they will be given wristbands. So it's a little different than our usual just show up. But on the other hand, if anybody registers in advance, they can indeed just show up. But I'm going to try and make sure we have it much more organized. We are doing 3 things at this, or at 3 categories of things at our booth. We will have 2 tables. We're hopefully going to have our the green maps standing up. It was much more effective at the last event because it was standing up versus lying down on a table. But we're gonna have for the kids coloring, active coloring, not just handing out the coloring books and crayons, but actively have I think we have some here, coloring sheets. Is that what I see behind Hunter? And crayons, and also some canvases and paints. To the leftovers from our previous events, and Candace had donated some leftovers from an event her organization also did. So that's for the kids. And I also ordered the what we voted on, the 4-in-1 orange and blue game set with rings. And it does have what looks like a golf club or a hockey puck, but we will not be bringing that, we won't be bringing any of the little things that somebody could flick and hit somebody in the eye, so that's not going to happen. But we'll have rings, and I think there's basketball hoops. We will not be competing with the Lakers, the Clippers, and all the other sports teams who will also be there with kid activations. They're going to have big sporty events, and we're going to have this orange and blue thing, but we'll have fun. And then in terms of our handouts, we'll be mostly doing, besides our regular brochure, we're going to have one handout that Caesar's preparing regarding the greening, the green plan and what we're doing, recreation parks. We're going to have a couple of things that the environmental committee has prepared in the past about composting and what you do with your vegetables. I mean, we already have these flyers. So, and then, the UNNC brochures. This is an event with thousands of kids, and surely the parents are there, but they may not be, I don't know how engaged. So we want to engage them in the map and engage them. Oh, and Elizabeth has prepared, and we will have this. We did have an announcement, I forgot. People at these events, people are not necessarily from UNNC. They don't know what neighborhood council they are with. She's prepared printouts for 12, our region, our area, 12 neighborhood councils. So we're gonna have a notebook and those maps in the notebook inside plastic sheets. So if someone says, I live here, we can point to a map. I can see it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we might want to have, it seems a little early, something about the neighborhood council elections next year. I think it's a little early and maybe not the right target audience, but it's not a bad audience to have the bulky item pickup flyer. I mean, we have some, we're representing the city essentially at this event, because I think we are literally the only city entity there.
Really?
Showing services. Yeah.
There's no other neighborhood councils that are going to be a part of it?
No,
Wow.
no, we just, they were like, what's a neighborhood council? But the council office arranged for us to be there, but I don't even think the council office is going to be there. I didn't see them on it. So the main thing is I'm going to have to send out an email ASAP to find out who really is coming at what time, because we're going to have to preset the wristbands. And it doesn't have to be board members. It can be active stakeholders who wanted to come. And they're not really going to limit it, because you could also register to attend. So in other words, but we will only have 2 chairs. And I'm trying to get 3 chairs in the booths. But it's just can't bring your own chair, they said.
That's why I imagine we can't bring a tent or anything like that.
We can bring our tent, but we cannot bring chairs.
Well,
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying they've got it very logistical, because they're having big stuff. I mean, there's going to be the Metro Art Bus. There's going to be Southern California Edison has some sort of truck with a cherry pickery thing. I mean, there's going to be a lot of big stuff. So, it's hard for them to organize to the little guys.
Yeah.
Because they're organizing to the big guys.
Laura.
So, yes.
is Park and Recs going to be represented there? Because that's certainly a city service that has a great deal of potential value to this audience, and particularly in the form of activities and recreation.
If they're not already on the list, my answer for you is no. And in which case, part of our responsibility, I believe, would be to take materials like from South Sea's house about summer activities.
Yeah.
And have them for handout. So I didn't see a recreation and parks person at the activation meeting, and I didn't see an obvious email, but it wouldn't have been obvious. There were lacity.org emails on the thing, but I need to take a closer look at the layout map. I mean, I have a map that I could share that just shows what's being closed, but the slideshow had the list of vendors, the numbered booths. Nothing struck me as recreation parks, but that doesn't mean they won't be there. So because it's obvious, but Play LA is funded by LA 84 at city parks. So one would think they'll be there, but I don't know if they have had staff that could sign up. So we'll see. It wouldn't be representative of our immediately local parks, but I don't necessarily think the kids who are coming are representative 100% of our local kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know where the thousands of kids are coming from. So
I agree.
Yeah. So we'll find.
Hey, Laura, I have a question. So
Sure.
UNNC has 2 tables, correct?
Correct. One would be the messy one for the kids crayoning and painting. And
Okay,
one
that's they can't do both things at that little table. If only 6 people can fit at the table, and we have to have it, so I mean, we have to look at people have experience in doing this, and I'm one that has experience. So it sounds good to say we're gonna have all this paper out there, and then we're gonna have painting, and then we're gonna have crayons all at the same table. We can't do all that.
Well, how many tables did you want for kids activation?
Well, whatever they said we have is what we have. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to painting, it's paintbrushes and water. So you have paintbrushes and water, and that, you have to kind of tend to that. Who's going to bring out the water for the painting? Do we have containers to put it in? Those little things matter. We can say a lot of stuff, but when it comes to actually doing it, we have to have a plan, a better plan. So,
okay, so Sandra, how did you do the painting at the February event at Leslie Shaw?
we have 4
How was that
tables.
handled?
We have 4 tables. It was
You have
1 table
4?
for paint and sip, and then we had 1 table for the crayons, a whole table. And it was like, because kids you can't organize them and just say, here, we're going to have just a few people. What the big picture is with Play of LA is just that, playing for kids. So we don't have to hold it to like such a stickler about what we do, as long as the kids are being active. So we have.
So we need a 3rd table. You want me to ask them if they can just provide the 3rd table?
Well, if they have logistically set up a certain way, because it's bigger than us, it's not just a community event, it's more of a county thing for the Olympics. They're gearing up. So if they have it situated with the logistics to what the map is showing, 2 is what we get. And we have to make our 2 work.
Would it make sense to nix the paint and just do like crayons, markers,
And
things
the
like
other
that,
activity.
so they're less messy?
Well, we don't
And then
have.
because we have to have people monitoring it, right? So yes, I would suggest we just stick with the crayons, and we could do crayon sheets and open it up and let them be free to draw. And then the activities mostly I had anticipated while we ordered it is going to be coming from the kids know how to play. It's coming from a thing called Connect 4. They know how to come up there and do all of that on their own. They know how to shoot the hoops by themselves. They could Connect 4, and somebody can help with the lines, making sure we all take turns. So that's going to keep people busy right there. And then we have the crayons. What we have been doing was just passing them out. But if they want to do some sheets, we can have sheets on the table, and the kids can come up and draw. But the paint cannot happen. And then when we get to
We can skip the paint. It makes it easier, less things to drag over there.
And then here's another thing. When it comes to those flyers that we always want to put out, all those papers, they always start flying away. We have no way to hold them down. So are we going to stuff them in the orange bags? Because just laying them on the table is just ridiculous.
You have like a thing that's in storage of just like binder clips. Like I think 9 times out of 10 we forget to get the binder clips.
No, we had the binder clips at the last one. That's the
Okay.
way, I think that's, people have to come up individually and get their own off a binder clip. Why can't we just stuff everything into a bag? They get everything, and then we have them on the table, and we can say, all this stuff is in the bag.
Okay, I'm gonna be the voice of economic reason here. We're out of money. We have the number of flyers that we have.
So we want everybody to come up and pick up and go through and take them off a binder clip. That's small-minded thinking.
Well, do you have another solution? We don't have to use the binder clips. I was just thinking of what we had, but if you have a better solution, I'm happy to hear it.
We used to have little things that were like little rocks in sparkly.
That's fine. I don't know where those are, and we're out of money though, right?
But I thought the thing would be to stuff them, put them in the bags, and if we don't
but Sandra, what that means is we're giving 100% of the flyers to every single person who wants a bag, and they may not need 100% of the flyers, but we have that at the moment, X number of flyers and no budget until sometime next fiscal year to print anything else. So I'd rather,
And then do we have any more outreaches coming up between now and the year to order more?
We have
so many flyers. I don't think we would need to order more.
Exactly. And we have so many bags too.
not that many flyers.
You've been saying that for 2 years. We have so many
brochures. We have the brochure.
What kind of flyers though?
Okay, again, they're very topic specific.
Yeah.
The bulk item pickup.
We have at least
Yes, we do. The composting on the green, we don't have hundreds of those, but I can print some more. Caesar's brand new one, we have 0 of it, and I already feel like I have to print that on my own printer. Because again, tomorrow's the last day I can print anything this fiscal year.
Those are the posters that we want to give away, because we can give those posters away. We can give those away to everybody. I feel like those are applicable to everybody.
Or we could just let Caesar do that at the table. If Caesar's having a conversation, he could do those. Once again, even if we don't give away all those bags, which we probably won't, and if we do, that's a good thing. We could order more. When we don't give them away, those bags in storage, you have some, I have some, there's still more in storage.
I don't have a problem with the bags being given away. I have a problem with pre-stuffing the bags. I'd rather people pick which flyers they want.
But you have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with that.
We need to come to a compromise. Like that, those are two like totally different situations. Like at the end of the day, like we just have to come to
right. But I'm just saying the answer is yes. On July 10th, we have another event, and we will not have been able to print further for that. That would be probably not that important. It's movies in the park here at Benny.
And we don't need all the green.
We don't need all of those for movies in the park.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody is willing to pre-stuff them, it really doesn't matter to me if they're pre-stuffed or stuffed at the event. Like I think the more literature people get at play day, the better.
They're gonna be stuffed at the event, pre-stuffed, but somebody's sitting at the event, not bringing them in stuff. That would be difficult because the bags are stored flat.
Yeah.
So some of them are pre-stuffed maybe with different things, but
respectfully, at the event that we just did, what was that? The Dollar Day, we were out there. The time that I was there, myself and Shannon, Laura wasn't there. We stuffed them as we went along. We just kept stuffing them.
Yeah, we're not carrying them in pre-stuffed. We stuff them there, whoever we is.
So then what would be the issue then?
Laura?
We're arguing about if we're going to stuff the bags or if we're not, but
exactly.
The issue is, okay, it's just that at this point in time, I can't with our credit card. I mean, tomorrow will be the very, very, very last day. I can take our credit card over to the print shop.
I don't think we should print anything else. I don't think we need to print.
We do not need to print.
Flyer.
Okay.
I think we're fine.
Right. Do you know some of those?
The green flyers, they can Google it. Like that's okay.
Well, those are the ones I can print on my computer anyway. I mean, there's some that I can print. What I cannot print is the 2-sided English-Spanish sheet about UNNC, and that was going to be the next thing I wanted to ask because
we have a lot of those.
Do we?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, we do.
Boxes of them, they're overflowing.
Okay.
We bring so many because we have so many of them.
Okay, so we don't need to print those again.
Definitely.
Fine.
And we can do a run. I can do a run to the storage and like whenever, double check once it's done. But
Because Sandra had done a run to the storage, and what we had at Data, I thought was the end of what we had, and it's about this thick, so
that's pretty thick.
that's pretty thick. About 120. That's not 300. I mean, they're expecting thousands.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean thousands of people will care.
yeah, and
Okay,
thousands
what-
of children, right?
Oh, no, yeah, the children don't care. We're not giving these bags stuffed with adult materials to children. They get a coloring book. If their parent wants the bag, we'll put the coloring book into the bag. And that's separate from the activation. Meaning we're gonna have coloring sheets,
Mhm.
and we are also having coloring book giveaways. So they want to color in their book, that's fine too, but we're gonna have coloring sheets.
Mhm. I can put that in the bag too.
If they want.
Are we all happy here? Are we good to move on?
Yeah,
Yes.
so, well, almost good to move on. Caesar
Oh,
is
what's the time?
arranging,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the time is like 2 or 3 hours, right?
it's 10 to 3.
Perfect.
Set
So we
up,
just have to get a
set up
couple
at
of,
9, no, set up at 8:30,
okay,
set up at 8:30. The event is 10 to 3, and no one has permission to unset up until after 3 o'clock.
that's how that goes, yeah.
But it's much shorter than the Dada thing.
Okay, so we just have to get some volunteers out there, and maybe if Hunter and would like to meet up with me, Hunter, and we can go to the storage. But I think we should look at the stuff we already have, Hunter. It's all, Laura, do you have all the storage? Is at South Sea's house? Where is it?
At the moment, I have not brought it back to South Sea's house because I've just been too exhausted. So some of it is on my front porch and some of it's in my car,
Okay,
and it's not lost, but I want to bring it back and put it right here in the South Sea's house because I have tomorrow, because I have access to it, because in that the cabinets, and then we've got stuff here in the cabinet here in
Okay.
South Sea's house. And I know that's not storage, but that is where we have the stuff.
For
it's
now.
kind of convenient for now that we have it close to the LA. Yeah,
Yeah, and also the South Seas house will actually be open from 10 to 2 that same day. So if we have some stuff here, someone could just run over and get it.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is Caesar's arranging, I told him he needs to plan in advance this time, so he's arranging his green team. And I think we need to arrange I'll call it the kids team, and then random UNNC board members or whoever for the talk about UNNC and the city team. So it's like almost 3 teams. But I don't know who should be the kids people.
me.
You,
Yeah.
I can ask Elizabeth if she can help. I mean, she's a children's librarian.
Perfect.
It's not as perfect as Sandra, who was a kindergarten
Active.
teacher, which is a little more direct, but she's used to talking to little ones, I will say.
Yeah. So are we going to put out a sheet and ask for volunteers regardless of that?
I'm gonna have to,
And
yes.
then we'll just ask for whoever shows up, just pitches in. Doesn't everybody have some kids? To pass out a coloring book and have a little conversation is not hard.
Yeah, so you say, no, I agree-ish, but it's been a long time since, okay.
Laura, these people need to volunteer. They're on the board to do something. They can't be,
Right.
come on.
No, I think we need to have a lot of our board members there. Okay, I'm losing my voice because I'm talking too much here. So I'm going to take the screen down. And do you think, Michael, what do you think? Are we ready to move on to the MPG?
I am more than ready. Let's hand it off to our guests.
Okay. Are we here for Fortune Society?
We are
Yes, we
here.
are.
I have both your slide deck and your NPG. Do you want to talk a little about yourself and then have me pull up the slide deck? Or what do you want to?
Yeah, we'll give a little introduction and then we can briefly go over the slide, but we just have a little bit that we can share about ourselves and our organization.
Okay.
So good evening again, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Mercedes Reyes and this is CJ Sargent, and we're the founders of the Fortune Society. We're a Los Angeles County serving organization dedicated to supporting the youth through arts, wellness, cultural enrichment, mentorship, and academic support. We're requesting funding for one 4-week SMART workshop program, including artist honorariums, materials, and program delivery. This 4-week initiative brings youth and professional BIPOC artists together and is aligned to serve youth, young people who may be underserved due to economic barriers or a lack of diverse representation and mentorship. Through meaningful engagement with BIPOC artists' mentors, participants are exposed to new art forms, cultures, perspectives, and ways of thinking, while learning to appreciate both their own identities and the diverse communities around them. In a world that is becoming increasingly interconnected, these experiences help young people build empathy, communication skills, confidence, and respect for others. Our program creates positive spaces where youth can connect, learn, and grow while developing a stronger sense of self and belonging. And with your support, we can bring the Smart Workshops program directly to the youth in this community.
And so I'm going to run through the slide deck a little bit here.
Okay.
So this is just basically about the program. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So
it's a as you can see, everything of the outline of our program is in this this deck here. We specifically focus on middle and high school students. Each workshop is about 2 hours, but it depends on what sort of community facility we participate with. Sometimes we collaborate with schools, and sometimes we collaborate with community centers. It just depends on the facility and the community partner within the district that we partner with. We did do some research on your district, and we actually live right around your district. So in this process, we're getting to learn more about the district. And a school that we have a really good relationship with is Mid-City Prescott. And so that would be a community partner that we would be interested in hosting the SMART workshops with, is Mid-City Prescott, the elementary school right there on Adams and Arlington.
And we're LAUSD vendors, so we actually can partner with schools, and we have really good relationships with people in LAUSD. And we've talked to a lot of these school personnel there. They love our program and agree that it is something that they would like to bring into the communities, into the schools. We became LAUSD vendors specifically because sometimes it's hard for parents to get their children to different community centers. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we were part of LAUSD. We've had a lot of conversations with different libraries as well as parks and recs, and everyone that we've spoken to has always loved what our program brings. It's just all about being able to provide the funding. This is full circle for children and the artists. So we do like to be able to pay our artists for their time. So, we work with a lot of working artists, people who are trying to connect with the community, and they're always really excited to be able to connect with the youth. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask one quick question? Is this for a specific event and date, or just sort of abstract future events?
Abstract future
It
events.
would be an abstract future event. So if we did receive funding, we would then base the dates within the parameters that were placed on the application. We were looking to put on a summer program of some sort within the community. If not, we could always host a SMART workshops once the students are back in school. So like around August sometime. So it's not one specific, it's no set date. So the date is more abstract.
But we do have.
So I was going to say, let me now quickly ask Laura, who's sort of our parliamentarian. Are we able to fund things that are not specific events, or?
Well, first of all, let's give some logistics. We are at the end of our fiscal year. So we are talking about next year, which it does begin in July. But, you know, but we don't know the full budget, although we have a good sense of it. We think, we know we're gonna have a baseline of 25,000 and probably a rollover of only 5,000. That compares to this year where we had a rollover of 14,000. So our budget next year is likely to be about $30,000. So we will need to be more. In other words, I don't think we can give a $5,000 MPG because that would be it. I mean, that would be our MPG budget. So seems unlikely we'd do that in July. You know, give away every dime that we have. Plus, not all of it will be in our hands yet because what I'm identifying as rollover won't even be identified till August or September, even though it's pretty clear at the moment what it will be. Beyond that, I do know we can always pay for materials. We may be able to pay for artists' honorarium, but it is highly unlikely that we can pay administrative staff categories. So, I mean, meaning the rules of what we can pay for. But conversely, if the board were so inclined to give more than a little amount of money, we might be able to pay for more than one site, but just partial for each site, if I'm saying that right, in terms of planning. And we would want to know for sure that it's a site within our boundaries, or sites plural, within our boundaries. And, you know, obviously Prescott's a good idea. Here at the South Seas House, they may welcome this program without you having any administrative costs because they have their own staff and administrative for opening the doors and, you know, all of that. So, I mean, it'd be worth talking to Adam Smith, who's the park director. So we're sitting in what looks like a house, and it is a house. It's the South Seas House, but they run programs, and lots of times other entities bring those programs to them and run the, you know, so that might be a partnership that could work for you that would eliminate some of the costs. So we would need to check, we need to check if we can pay the artist honorarium. It feels like we could, but it might involve some contracting, which would also imply we couldn't do it in August because the city attorney, you know, everybody gets involved once there's a contract. And the artists themselves, who are likely already required to do this, they're likely self-employed, would need to be people who have registered their self-employed business with City Office of Finance. So they would have to have a tax certificate. They wouldn't be paying any taxes because they'd have to earn more than $300,000 a year to owe any taxes. Can't imagine the artists teaching these.
That's common though. I'm sure most of them who are doing gigs like this would have that already.
Yes, but they would have to.
Yeah.
And then that part's easy. The hard part is if it requires a contract, they probably also have to have liability insurance, which maybe they already do because they're dealing with kids. Right. So, you know, anyway.
That's the hard part.
We also
So
have
we have our own liability insurance. So you're saying that the artists.
Well, that might be fine too. So in other words, I'd have to find out from the city clerk's funding team, how would something like this be done? So that we could pay artists, you know, but normally, you know, that would be that $1,200 piece there. But the 33, I think, is very good, would be very difficult, aside from our own budgetary issues.
I have a question, I guess. Are you guys looking elsewhere for funding, or is this sort of like your do or die? If we don't give you the full 5,000, you don't think you'll be able to fund?
Well, we are a new organization. We were founded in 2023. And so this is our first approach and familiarization with neighborhood councils in general. So what we're beginning to do is build relationships with various neighborhood councils throughout Los Angeles County. Our goal is, oh, Chris, do you have a question?
Well, one of the things I think it's important to recognize is that we are not a primary funding organization for other organizations. What we
Yes.
have the capacity to do is to fund specific grants that fall for activities that fall within our boundary of our neighborhood council. So that means,
Correct.
grants would need to come with a specific well-defined date, a place, and the duration of the activities for us to fund it. I do not believe we don't have the budgets of the scale that could fund something ongoing or something that's just sort of out there and might happen to a school. We'd need to know the date, the school, and that it's in our district and it meets the requirements, like we can pay for the materials. But it needs to be much more granular and focused in my understanding. And I just wanted to give you that awareness that we're the primary funding source for other organizations since Districted.
Right.
Well,
So
thank you. Yeah, we're completely knowledgeable of that, but thank you for that. And yeah, we want to put this workshop on specifically within the United Nations Neighborhoods Council. So it would be specifically within your district. The date is not so much abstract at all. We could, if the grant was funded, we could put host the event within the parameters of the application. The biggest thing for us is the correspondence and the communication and the approval process between ourselves and the council. So it just depends if that process would be as fast and active as our date parameters on that application, then that would be most realistic. I do believe we put in August.
And the thing with this is that, so last summer, we hosted 2 workshops over a duration of 8 weeks. One month, it was a 4-week acrylic art paint workshop. And the second month, it was a 4-week acting workshop. And so what we have to do is we have to facilitate. We have to work with the artists, facilitate the artists, make sure that they're available. We have to also market that event. So if it's at a school, that's different because the kids are already there. But say it's at a community center or at Parks and Recs, we have to make sure that we're able to get kids involved.
Right.
So we have a marketing agency, actually, social media marketing agency. So we do a lot of back end work to make sure that the public knows about our workshops. So
the community is aware of the actual event, because if the community isn't aware of the event, then we can't pull the children or the parents from the event. So
that's why it's kind of open-ended. We're not trying to show up unprepared, but we're leaving room to understand what we can do and then how we can facilitate that. Yes, Ms. Sandra?
Hi,
Yes.
I would like to suggest, because I've done some funding with the funding department, and it's a hassle. And I would suggest you make it for, and I'm also a preschool teacher, and I do I'm a tutor for 3rd grade, so I'm really active in the schools. I would like to suggest maybe you project it for when they have winter break. That would give a little more time, because the funding people will have you going back and forth, and you won't be able to stabilize yourself to get the information out there to make it successful. So if you do winter break, that will give us enough time for it to bounce back and forth with the neighborhood council, because it has to go to another process before it's on, and then that's when the funding starts, and then that funding part could take a while. So it might not work out for you in the summer, but by winter break, you should be clear. And you would if you put those dates on there, because they're very picky, because I went through a lot and they frustrated the heck out of me. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you
they get your money.
So the more after prayer and holding on to clutching my pearls. So after the more information you give them, the less they'll have to like put loopholes in. So that would be my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what we.
And that's CJ said. We're learning. You know, we're really learning, and we're just trying to find a way to bring this to the communities. And we're actively working on our part to be fully funded ourselves, so we can just show up and provide. And also
it's also the activation on the other end. A lot of neighborhood councils don't even respond. You know, a lot of neighborhood councils, it's not a priority to the communication. So for us, we can only move as fast as you guys do on your end. So like Ms. Chris said, we're 100% aware of everything that you said. And we're completely, our program is completely focused. Our initiative within your district is completely focused. And we're completely on point with our execution and what we plan to execute. So we just need to get the process going, like Ms. Sandra said.
Work through and, work with you guys and learn as we go. And when the time's right, we will be ready.
Okay, this is Laura speaking. We have funded a number of different programs the last couple of years that partnered with local schools and different kinds of things. So 2 years in a row, we've worked with the California Dance Institute to help them they already have a program in one of our local schools in the Carson Gore, which is a middle school. PK to middle school. I'm not clear anymore because all these schools keep changing their grades, but they didn't ask us to fund their program. In this case, they asked us to help them get their kids to the big event that they hold at the end of each school year with all of the schools that they have their programs in. So it's a much older and bigger program, but then they come together and do a grand performance in a professional theater, and it's kind of a cool thing. But this year we helped them get a bus so they could get the kids to Glendale. Last year we helped them in a different way, but in other words, they were very focused, but they've been around like 30 years, so that's a little different. We also worked with a rather newer organization who did a program in the Johnny Cochran middle school, and but there they had the principal, in other words, the principal is writing us letters saying yes, and we're going to do it on this day. So that's another important aspect to make sure that the principal of a school is a yes in advance, that they support a particular program. And what was the other one we did at school? The garden. Right. We've partnered with a couple of different garden organizations who do gardens at school. So these are all different topics, right? But always they already have the permission to be at the schools, I guess what I'm trying to say. So so we're not
which we do since we're LAUSD vendors. So when we propose to the school and say we're already a part of that. Yeah,
but we want to see a letter from the particular principal. If we're going to do a four-week workshop, 4 afternoons over a month, I mean, whatever it is that we're helping to pay for, I want to make sure that workshop's really able to happen. Because once we have asked the city to give you a check, we can't get the money back. So so we want to make sure that there's a permission to do it. I think this is all doable. I'm just saying. I'm giving you some.
Yeah.
Just the structure of which you guys work.
Right. And the other way, completely different approach, and how we've done work with the Rediscover, which is a nonprofit in Mar Vista, but also here on Washington Boulevard there, and after school. They do after school and summer programs with kids, but they're using recycled materials to teach kids how to be not artists, but makers, if you know that phrase. Meaning they learn how to use saws and maybe make big things out of recycled materials. And in that case, we've donated, our more recent donation was for materials for them to share at various community events so they can take their show on the road at outreach events within our community. Not even outreach events, but like a block club party or, movies music under the stars. So there are other ways for us to help you with funding that doesn't involve singular event.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So we can come to you and say, hey, we have, we've established this event, but we need help with X, Y, and Z. And then versus like, can you help us put this event on?
Oh, yeah, we really don't want to help you put on an event, because then we have to apply to be an event sponsor or co-sponsor. And then when Sandra was saying it's a pain in the, that's a real pain in the, you know what, so we don't want to do that at all. But yeah, I mean, in other words, if you wanted to come back and say, you know what, we actually are going to do 3 workshops in or near the, you know, the UNNC boundary, but the kids are UNNC kids. And can you pay for materials? That's actually kind of an easy one for us.
Okay.
Because all it is materials. We're not dealing with human beings who may or may not need contracts and liability insurance. So I had talked to Candace about this, you know, our treasurer as well. And we both thought we, you know, wanted to give you direction tonight rather than a vote in one fiscal year to make a recommendation to our board in a second fiscal year. It seems a little, I mean, it's doable, but you know, what do you think?
No, I think that makes sense. I think that probably pushing it for a little bit later is more realistic, just with the return time for having to get the funding.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, I mean, paying for materials, or even if it's like, I'm trying to think of other material like things we've done in the past. We've done like food trucks and stuff like that. But as long as they're
for an
event.
Well, not for a 4-week workshop for kids.
Yeah.
They don't need to have.
I was just trying to think.
They
of
don't need to have unhealthy
conventional
snacks.
things that we could pay for. But
Yeah. I mean, no, we can. I mean, I don't know.
Are we saying come back and ask for materials in September? Because when I'm thinking when is winter break, because that'll give us enough time, and you guys enough time.
What we're saying is come back with something a little more specific to our boundary, but also
later in the year.
But give Candace and I time to check in with the city clerk to see what, in terms of paying humans as opposed to materials, what we can or cannot do.
Got it.
Yeah.
They're a little busy right now. They're closing out the books. So I don't think we can easily get a clear answer for next year while they're trying to close this year. So, I mean,
this is very helpful. It at least gives us guidance into what we can ask for from the city council.
Yeah.
Right.
It also gives us a bit more insight into what you guys do and what you have control over and what you don't have control over.
Yeah.
And not all neighborhood councils have the same budget or budgetary.
Yeah.
So I mean, they all have the same base budget of that $25,000. But they did vote this year, the city council voted to allow neighborhood councils to roll over any unspent funds. So there may be a neighborhood council that has 22,000 not spent this year, which would give them a substantial budget for next year. You know, we're just not among those neighborhood councils this year because we did a darn good job of spending all our money this year. First time ever, I'll be honest with you. So.
Also, I think it's important to think about scale because we as a neighborhood council try to meet a lot of diverse needs across our footprint. And so many of our grants are often in the 500 to some of the higher ones around 2,000. So they're not maybe as big a grant as the today, just to be aware, because we don't put everything into one effort. We try to be able to fund things throughout the year in our footprint.
Right.
Got it.
And then on a variety of topics as well. I mean, this last year we didn't do any food related ones. And by that I mean in the past we've given away, you know, done a lot of food boxes or farmers markets where they're giving away food, you know, and we didn't do that at all. That would be the ones where we tend to spend more money. We do like art, we do like greening projects, you know, planting trees. So, you know, we're trying to spread their money around and as well doing events. So we've been spending quite a bit of money creating our own events or supporting other people's events. So that, anyway, which we may not be able to do a lot of this next year either. the more limited funds that we will
Some
have.
stuff.
All right. So I think the marching orders are that Candace and I will check in with the city clerk to see what we can or cannot fund for a program like this. So that's important to know. And we'll let you know sooner rather than later, but not likely this week.
Okay, no problem.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you
Wow,
too.
thank you so much.
We are on social
Bye.
media, on Instagram.
Yeah, please
If you
follow
like
us,
to
supportsociety.org.
We just did a really big event at Carson High School.
Yes.
Not in your district, but it was
Okay.
really amazing.
With the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health. And it was a really cool event that we did for Children's Wellness Day during Mental Health Month. So
it's really important to us. It may not be this specifically, but just to take away, it's really important to us as people who are from Los Angeles, who grew up here, just what's been taken away from the schools. Miss Sandra, you're a teacher, you understand how much they've taken the arts away, and it really does affect children's mental health. And we feel that it's not enough focus on arts. There's a lot of small things happening, but once that small thing happens, it's over, it's done. You give away a sandwich or you have one little event or color, it's done. But true artistic experience and mentorship is what we feel that the youth is lacking. Absolutely. And so we're really working hard and trying to touch every base that we can to see how we can bring this dynamic.
But also the biggest word she misses diversity, because the biggest thing that all of these districts are missing, and one of the most important factors of our program in our organization is diversity.
Yes.
And so we would be honored to circle back with you guys and see how we could bring some more workshops to the children within that community that is changing, to continue to incorporate that diversity in this district as it is shifting to being not so diverse from when as diverse as it was. So thank you guys, Michael, Sandra, Chris. Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure
We'll
meeting you.
circle back with you guys. We look forward to learning more from you, Ms. Laura. Yeah. And
All right.
Well, and
You
what,
guys have a good
I want to leave you with this. My predecessor, President Paula of Southern, and I talked about it, but we had wanted, and I still would like to, have some sort of conclave of all the nonprofits that we call our nonprofit community partners, but bring everybody together, because I really think there can be some interesting dynamic if some of y'all partner with each other on projects here, but nobody knows anybody, each other. So I don't know how we're gonna ever pull that off. I'm beginning to think about it, because one of the interesting nonprofit partners, the Japanese, the ADAP, which is on Crenshaw Boulevard, they have a large community room. So I don't know how large the large community room is, but if it's large enough, I'm going to see if they might be willing to be the host of something like that. So so that we're not having to apply to the city clerk just to invite everybody to meet each other.
Yeah.
But we just have a lot of different institutions ranging from arts and cultural organizations like Amazing Grace Conservatory and the Debbie Allen Dance Academy to ADAP, which is more about drug treatment, but they have art workshops and similar, lots of family workshops, to Biddy Mason Foundation, which is dealing with foster children, and Friends of Jefferson Park Library and Friends of Washington Irving Library. I mean, big and small organizations. Be nice to have them working with each other.
Oh,
definitely.
Sure. Definitely.
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, again, we're new and we haven't been in business for 30 years, but we will be in business for 30 years. So we're fresh kids on the block. And so we're just excited to be here, and we're going nowhere. So we'll look forward to your email.
Thank you for coming and introducing
Thank
yourself.
you so much for having us. Thank you so much.
Guys. Have a great night.
You guys have a great evening.
Bye. Michael, do you need me to pull the agenda back up?
No, I think the next item is the UNNC letters. The first is the testimonial letter in support of Hollywood
Well-
community housing.
Well, the next item was actually, if we were
What?
the neighborhood council end of year review. So Candace did it for us last year. It was it was two things. It was a boring document that she had to fill out and turn in to Dunn that they haven't asked us for. But because she had to do that, she also created, because she does these fun PowerPoints, she also created a PowerPoint for our July meeting, if you recall, that kind of took a lot of our photos and did the year in review. So I was just thinking, do we want to ask her to do that again? Either, you know, if we need to respond to Dunn, does she want to be the person who does the response? She's not here for me to actually volunteer her tonight, but she seems to like that kind of stuff. And do we also want her to think about creating such a presentation for our July board meeting?
If she's willing to, I know she has a different job than what she had last year, so if she has the time, that would be nice.
It would involve all of us who've taken photos at events all year long to turn them in, because I don't think we have most of them at this
I
point.
could do that.
Right, well, you, Sandra, I've taken some photos.
Yeah.
We have not turned them in and put them up in a Google Drive.
Yeah.
But it would involve that. So, and other.
Yeah. And the other part, you said she had to do that document, it could kind of be like a rinse and repeat since she already has it. It might not take, I don't know, but you ask her, but I like to see the year in review. I like the photos. That's great. Who wants to read a bunch of stuff?
No,
Just
well,
give it to me.
the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment wants to read a
Stuff.
bunch of stuff, but we liked seeing a bunch of
So you said
stuff.
two things. You said you weren't sure if they were asking for that, right?
Correct, we have not
If she was
received.
gonna do that. So I said, my point was about if she wanted to, it might be a rinse and repeat on that
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
So this is what she did last year. I'm just I share the screen. Ugh. It was, what am I doing? What I'm not doing is finding a way to navigate from page to page. But, we showed things we participated in. Oh God, we had a cute cake. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too.
This was our 20th anniversary.
Oh wait, I don't know if I was.
This was a long time ago. This was a year in review of an earlier year. Let's look at that. Wow.
It's like
Okay.
34 pages long, Laura.
Yeah, we're not gonna go
This
through
is
it.
where it starts.
Okay.
We're not gonna, this
Yeah.
is an older one.
I think we can
But-
make this short and say we can ask her
Yeah.
to do both. If she doesn't want to do the document and Dunn ends up sending it to us, I'm happy to do that.
Okay,
As like a backup, because I mean, if she's like, yeah, it was quick and easy, I have it, like I can do it, that's great. But if she doesn't have the time, I'm happy to do it.
right. And then, last year, what they wanted us to do is sort of say, what did you decide to do at the beginning of the year and did you accomplish it? And we just decided, no, that's not how we're gonna respond. We're gonna just respond with things we did do.
Mhm.
Not so much that we had decided to do, because what we've learned is we respond to interesting proposals.
Totally.
Through the neighborhood, what the neighborhood wants is what we respond to.
Well, or what a board member has passion about, or whatever. I mean,
Whatever the community, all of us are neighbors, yeah, what the community wants, yes.
Okay, Michael, now you get to do approve UNNC letters.
There we go. All right. I'm in letter.
Well-
First is the testimonial letter in support of the Hollywood community housing use Gramercy Department.
Yeah, hang on, I'm trying to figure out. The share thing is not so easy necessarily. You have to go find the thing. There it is. Okay, so this is sort of different than usual. We meet at the Gramercy Place Apartments, right? And we like them. We hold our workshops there, etc. It's owned by the Hollywood Community Housing Corporation, and they are getting some bad press, not they personally, but developers of affordable housing are being conflated of late with the private developers. So there's nonprofit developers of affordable housing, and they're the ones building, like the building we meet in, or the Arlington, the apartment building that's about to open at 4th and Washington. Which is Tom Safran and Associate, and Holos, Holos, is the one who's done the St. Andrews Steps, 1808 St. Andrews, not yet opened. So their work is primarily centered around seniors, formerly homeless, family housing, but people who are.
Sorry, can you scroll this a little bit while you're talking? Because I would like to read it.
Okay.
Describe.
But a lot of the affordable housing projects that
Wait, right there. Wait, go back. I'm reading it while you're talking. Okay, right there.
A lot of the affordable housing projects that we see of late are actually made by private developers, and they're not that level of affordable. They're at an income level that's $70,000 to $120,000 a year, individual or family income. So anyway, they've had some Hollywood Community Housing specifically is one of the partners on that Venice Beach project that has been in and out of the news because the city attorney maneuvered so that they no longer have approvals that the city council had voted approvals on. There's lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. And they are now thinking that they need to do, I want to say just in effect, it's a little PR effort where they can get some testimonial letters. So so that when they go into a new community, they can say, we worked things out in communities where we built. So, and that's truthful. When they were proposing the Gramercy Apartments, we held design meetings with neighborhood. I mean, we, not meaning me, they and the community had like 3 or 4 meetings looking over designs and who would be living there and what would be the aspects of the housing. They've obviously created a community room that community people can actually use. And so they're looking to get a testimonial letter for when they meet with other neighborhoods or other neighborhood councils. So this is their draft letter. I haven't really edited it.
Oh, okay.
Wait, they wrote this letter and they're developing.
Well, I talked to them about it. I did not write the letter, but it would, I mean, in other words, they're asking, number one, can we write a testimonial letter? And number two, does this one work or would we want something different? So what they're basically saying, or we're saying, it's a positive addition to the neighborhood. We, we needed the 64 units. The developer demonstrated throughout the process a commitment to working collaboratively with neighborhood stakeholders. This is true statement, very true statement. And Chris could have testified to that as well. And that the development that's been up and going up for a couple of years has not created the issues that are sometimes associated. See, there's being vague here with new, basically neighborhoods, particularly on the west side, don't want they don't care about seniors, but this project here on Washington is formerly homeless seniors. Half the population living there were people living on the streets or in their cars. So I think I can say for sure, and Chris can probably attest as well, there's been 0 problems with that population in our neighborhood. So,
importantly,
and in fact,
Laura, I think something that's really important to point out is this organization has got a deep roots down. They've done multiple projects in San Diego as well as in LA, and they build and hold their properties. They don't build them and then pass them off. So they have a long-term commitment to the properties and to the programs and to the support of the residences. And Dim and I went out before the Washington Boulevard was completed, and we visited 4 of their other properties in Los Angeles, and they were all extremely well maintained. They provided the parking. They had some public parking. They really came through on their promises. And so I hardly support a letter, even if we tweak the one they provided. And living in Western Heights, right adjacent as a neighbor, they have been really good neighbors.
So most of the people, are you saying that live in these buildings are pleased with them, the neighbors, not just the way they look, but they're pleased with the management and how they're run?
Yeah, and at this
You
particular.
know that from neighbors or from your eyeball?
Yes, I am a neighbor, and we all know that because we actually use their community room, and they've, we have an opportunity to go in and be in that building, and they've supported us with our UNNC meetings, and they have supported food distributions on their plaza, and they're extremely well run. They are on time. Everything is picked up. There's never any trash. They keep their buildings well maintained on the inside and the outside, and they do a lot of support services for their residents. And so in Western Heights, we've been happy to have them as our immediate neighbors. Yes.
So are you guys in the neighborhood gonna do a letter, or are we representing all of UNNC since Western Heights is so happy with them?
They didn't, I don't think they asked Western Heights. This just came up. It wouldn't be a bad idea to also ask Western Heights, but they've asked UNNC.
Okay.
And Chris is reminding me, that's right, when in the process, when they were building relationships with the neighbors in that process, they had open house tours of their other buildings and invited our neighbors to go to other parts of town to see their other operations. So the point is that they've been building these relationships from early on. They also work very closely with the Amazing Grace Conservatory. So when Amazing Grace has big programs, they'll also use the community room. I mean, in other words, they're just they've become a real part of the community.
I always don't want to say it because I very much support like the Venice building and all of this, and they have been good. But I do want to play devil's advocate for a second, where didn't we have a board member who essentially left because they got into an altercation with a resident at that building? I don't remember exactly what happened.
No, we had a board member who, we had a senior citizen board member.
She was like grabbed or pushed or something?
Yeah, but not by a resident of the building.
It wasn't a resident?
It was in the exiting of the building, and it was
I thought it
was a young man. It was a young man who had some mental issues, and he was looking for grandma, and she's a grandma.
Yeah.
And he kind of grabbed at her, but that's not why she left the board. She never came back, but her daughter was at the same time diagnosed with a serious cancer.
I see. Well, that's okay. We don't have to get into that. Right. My second point was, and this is a new development and really has nothing to do with the developers at all. But when we were throwing stuff away this past board meeting, they were like, oh, just put it in the recycling. And I was like, oh, it's not recycling. They're like, it's okay. It all goes to the same place. There are so many people that live in that building, and it's a shame that they're not recycling at all, if that's true. And I know that's nothing to do with this letter, but I needed to be said.
Well, maybe Teresa works with the folks in the building because they have a garden club. Mm-hmm. And a number of other people work in the garden club with the residents, but maybe they do need a recycling club.
Yeah,
and
they need to figure that out.
Elizabeth can take on this summer.
Yeah, I'll pitch it to them.
Okay. Yeah, because everyone, we can all learn. None of us are perfect.
Yeah, but it's a massive building. Like they should have some recycling infrastructure.
They should. Yes, they should. So anyway, I'm going to stop the share. What do you guys? I mean, we can't really approve this letter. I think because it's a testimonial. I think we need to ask the board if they're okay with doing a testimonial. But do you all want to? Did y'all read the letter in advance? I mean, what do you want to do with it? I had it up in the agenda packet. I didn't edit it yet.
Tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable about this subject, but I don't think that we should let them just write the letter for us. I think we do need to adjust.
Well, I think she was trying to do it to save me time.
Yeah,
which it did, but then obviously we have to write our own letter.
Yeah.
Is there anything it did seem somewhat innocuous. Like they didn't make any outrageous claims or anything. It's largely probably stuff we would have said anyways, right?
Right. I mean, it's just, when David pitches new clients, we take a little package that includes testimonial letters from prior clients. I mean, it's kind of generic testimonials.
I think we can tweak the letter, and I think because they host our UNNC meetings, we can make it a little more personable to our own experience because we meet there once a month, and we have for several years now. And that's they've had a community room that they really make available to the community. And so I think there's some things we can focus in on and emphasize that is right, kind of in line with our own experience as UNNC.
Yeah, and it's not just our meetings. We have the 6-week workshop and then the 1-day workshop 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's open to other people, not just us, to have meetings like that. So, and you're right about the food giveaway. It's once a week.
Yeah.
It's around the corner Friday mornings, and there they are standing in line for food. It's another organization. It's not that the building gives away the food.
Right.
They've opened the doors to another, a food insecurity organization to provide, bags of food, both to the residents there, but also other people in the community.
To the larger community, yeah.
So do we want to just like make some tweaks to this then and then bring it to the board next month for approval?
Yeah.
Is that cool with everybody?
Work for me.
Okay.
Who's gonna make the tweaks?
But like again, I don't know much about the
Yeah.
building as much as other people do, but I'm happy to do those edits.
Well, if you want to take a look at it as a more outsider saying this,
I'll remove stuff. Maybe people can give me like little tidbits of ideas, and then I'll word them.
Right, so it doesn't
longer.
read so PR.
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
Okay. The other letter we're not going to look at tonight because I don't have the updates from Siobhan. So, Michael, we're not going to have anything from Candace. That's for darn sure. But the final fiscal year expenditures before I use the credit card 3 times today I had to pay Anne $732. Well, that's right. Before I paid Anne Zumwinkle her final invoice for the year, we get to every June use the credit card for the invoice. And all the other times it's a payment request for check. But I had to prepay our public storage for July because the card is dead from the 20th of June through about the 5th of July. But our public storage fee is due on the 1st, so we prepay that, and that's $362, $1,100, and I bought the game 4-in-1, which is about under $100, but that takes us down to about $5,000 for the rollover. So in round numbers, that's where we are.
And an estimation, you're saying 5G.
So we had $6,120.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Okay.
And then I spent.
I don't think we have a whole lot of money to roll over. I think that's good.
Yeah. But I spent $732 for our webmaster and $62 for our storage and about $100 for the thing. So we're down to $5. I mean, that takes us to about $5,000. So now I know it's not 14 like last year. But, all right. I don't have a president's report that I feel like sharing because every time I have a president's report, it's just whining. So we'll just move on because something comes up. Well, anyway, we got an indemnity letter for Play Day. Sandra knows. I mean, 2 days to get a stupid liability indemnity letter.
Jeez.
Oh, you got it worked out. Good.
Yes, but when I finally read the letter, it's like, well, this isn't a very good letter. But luckily, they had already decided that probably we didn't need to have it.
Oh.
So I said, well, I'm not interrupting the process because I want to see what the process is and what it ends up being. And I now know what it ends up being. And it's not a really great insurance letter if you were a lawyer. But anyway, if you were any lawyer except for the city's lawyer, if you work for the city, it's a great letter. Anyway, Michael, do you have any?
So no real updates on the training. I think Chris, you're still pending. You're on mute if you're.
Chris, you're muted.
Okay. I'm purchasing a new laptop. I just was not, that was my interface and I lost it and I wasn't able to just outright replace it right away, but I'm in the process now. So I will jump on it and get my training done.
I did get an email from Josh, who said he did complete his training. And Shannon also said she's completed her training. But I also got an email from our Dunn rep saying that their website is stuck on hold while it's being revised. So the snapshot doesn't show that. And it's like, okay, perfect. So in theory, Shannon and Joshua have done their training.
They
Awesome.
should have certificates too, right?
Pardon?
You should have certificates as proof too, right?
Well, yes, but I'm not in the mood to force them to try and prove it when I already know that the website is, it's a website issue. I mean, you know, come our next board meeting, if I still don't have any information and Michael doesn't, we're done. July board meeting, I guess it is July 2nd. We're going to try our bestest. We do have at least one and maybe two land use items. The at least one is Century Liquor. Actually, they were denied. Century Liquor, which is on the corner of Arlington and Jefferson, the Korean widow who owns the property and whose husband had run the liquor store requested removing the security guard and expanding the hours, and said it was because as a poor widow, she couldn't afford to pay for the security because her husband had been the security, apparently, which was not what he was supposed to be doing. And the zoning administrator turned the request down in large measure because she's not the person operating the liquor store anymore. It's actually a circus liquor.
Right.
And so for reasons I do not understand, city planning not only allowed there to be an appeal, which there's a process you can appeal. The normal appeal process is if the original applicant wants to appeal. So in other words, this was a denial. They wanted an appeal so they could get their later hours and the security guard. Her land use representative is the one who filed the appeal, and city planning allowed him to file it as an aggrieved individual. So he only had to pay $175 instead of the normal 85% of the original fee. So there is, which is quite a lot of money. There is an appeal. The hearing is July 7. The information, much of the information I just said came out at the hearing. So it was not in our original letter or our original vote for our original position posing this. So it needs to go back to the board just to add the bit about it's not the same operator. So we're going to do it tomorrow night at planning and zoning, but we'll need to take an official action in order to have time at this hearing, which will be at the Area Planning Commission. So for UNNC to be able to talk at that hearing, we have to have taken another action. So unfortunately, I know you guys just love land use, but we have one at least. I know. And maybe a second one if, but probably not. Is there anything else we're going to need to do on the agenda besides the updated BAC to reaffirm our vote on the budget and the admin package so we can get our credit card going? And I mean, keep it going, we'll have it going. And anything else that you guys think will be on that agenda that we know now. This MPG will not. Yeah,
Do we have to do an and thing again? Say that?
I don't know. I'll check with Ann Not to see if we have to do it twice. We may want to go ahead and vote on our participation in the Music Under the Stars.
Oh yeah. When is that? September?
It's Labor Day weekend. I haven't looked at the calendar, but it's
September 5th or something.
no, it's the last weekend in August, first weekend.
Oh, so it's
Whatever the calendar says. Last year it was Labor Day was the 1st of September. So
Labor Day is
the event was August. You know,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday was August, and Monday was.
Labor Day's
September
August.
7th is Labor Day.
So we have a little more. So we have a little more time. So I just don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what we might have on this agenda. And Sandra, you'll have an event coming in, but we can't give an MPG to the Jefferson Library. So will you have a partner on that?
For the movies. Oh
Yeah. Or can you work with
CD10?
CD10?
Yeah,
If
CD10.
CD10's gonna do it, then we don't need to give you an MPG. We can be a mini co-sponsor of an event. But we could do it that way and not worry about the conflict between the nonprofit and your board membership.
Right. But we need to talk about that at
I think we should talk about it July 2nd.
yeah, because it's happening August 11th. If we
Correct. Even though we didn't talk about it tonight, we probably should talk about it July 2nd
Okay.
to see how we want to proceed.
Okay.
You know, okay, anything? We won't need to do anything on communications, right?
No, I don't think so. Sure.
All right, last not least, Sunmin.
Oh,
And Chris has her hand.
Chris is-
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, is it possible at UNNC we can have a discussion about the vote by the city council not to endorse expanding the city council, even though the independent organization that recommended an expansion to 25 seats, but there was a vote today by Harris Dawson that they voted against the expansion, saying that it would the reason
That's the
was
whole purpose of the Charter Reform Commission.
yes, and so I do think representing our community, we need to at least have good information available to people so they understand what's happening and how that really is diluting their representation. So I don't know how we can formulate that within our, but if it can be up, there can be a discussion.
You can draft a letter.
Yeah, because it's very disturbing. I mean,
love
there
to
was,
support the letter. That'd be great. If we could send them a letter, that would be awesome.
yeah,
Right.
I appreciate that because it's been delayed up to now, and all the PR was that it had been recommended and it would go forward, and then for our own city council to vote against it because it keeps their power and their control and doesn't respect the city.
Was today the final city council though?
Apparently today was it was the city council vote, and
So
they
who's gonna
voted
draft the letter?
and they voted
You
no.
draft it? Chris, will you draft a letter?
Let me give it some thought.
On your brand new computer.
Well, I gotta get it first. Let me give it some thought.
Yeah, please do, Rodney. Don't give it. It's a great idea, but we're gonna say
And
don't waste it.
and I wanna do a bit of a dive to find out, the only other way for this to happen is for there to be a referendum that gets the signatures that puts it on the vote. And so people get a chance to vote yay or nay at the polls, but it will
Okay,
not be on this
know.
coming electoral calendar, thanks to today's vote at city council.
We're not even aware about this whole thing, so
I
think
know.
we need to have more information.
You
before we
bet.
start writing letters and
Yeah, so let me do a deeper dive and I'll try to bring information to the July 2nd meeting, all right?
So,
That'd be great.
but today you're saying, and we can all check it. I mean, it'll be online, but I was saying today was the final city council vote to decide what was in and what was out of The charter reform?
No, not the charter board to vote
No.
on selection cycle in November. They were gonna,
So it won't be on the November election cycle.
Yeah, that's what they were, I mean, that's what charter reform was.
yeah,
They can't just do charter reform, they has to be a vote.
yeah.
So we went into this process, this is Laura's being her ranty self, anyone watching on YouTube. We went into this process because people wanted to try to expand the city council.
Mm.
So instead, we ended up with, we don't expand the city council. Did they vote to expand the electorate?
They did. They voted for
non-citizens?
non-citizens to be able to vote in city and school elections. Yes,
So they expand the electorate, but not expand
the
the
representation.
offices that we could vote for.
Yep.
Wow,
Mhm.
okay, all right, well, that's interesting, well,
It's quite disturbing.
yeah, bated breath. Can we let Sunmin give us, or me and Sunmin give us a little some, because she got us all very excited at the environmental committee.
So glad.
Yeah, so, do you want,
Well, it was I sent out a project proposal. It's called the Jefferson Boulevard Community Petition Neighborhood Identity Proposal. I didn't know which of those terms to
well,
send out, but it was basically just a circulation copy for feedback on requesting that if any trees get planted along Jefferson Boulevard, that they be the pink trumpet flowering trees, so that we can have like a very uniform presence and get people excited about beautification. Since it was on the list of one of the approved trees for the city, I thought that would be a really kind of symbolic and iconic look. So I just started talking to various members of the community and people who were didn't even know what UNNC was, didn't even know their neighbors, didn't know that there was any planning going on in Jefferson Boulevard, like last mile, first mile, that they were just like very excited about the possibility of something like this. I mean, it was kind of a way to kind of just start talking to them about beautifying the neighborhood and infrastructure projects. And they were like, yeah, well, we need, safer streets and we need this and we need that. And so I was like, well, can we find something that maybe we can all like neutrally agree upon? And since I've been participating at UNNC since a few months ago, like the projects that really excited me were the trees that Chris and Teresa had planted. And I was out there and I was like, wow, you guys actually do stuff. This makes people really happy and excited. And so I thought maybe it might be a way to, without stepping on any other committees, arena of, influence, to maybe find something to start organizing or activating our neighbors.
and then, of course, we then kind of stole the idea and made it bigger. Right? And said, well, let's get all the businesses involved. Let's have a spruce up day. Let's have a cleanup day, but let's include weeding of the existing tree wells and maybe washing windows of the businesses. So,
But this proposal is just pretty small in terms of, it's just like, if we have a choice, if the city is gonna approve 4 trees along Jefferson Boulevard, if we have a choice and there's only like 5, 3 trees that are allowed, then instead of leaving it up to whoever is just planting the trees along the way, if the community can have a say, then maybe this could be our say, and then we can at least have like something that will, unite us. And because I also, when I was sitting in all the tree meetings or in the economic development meetings, Teresa had mentioned that, some store owners do not even want trees, they cut them down. And sure enough, I look along the boulevard and a lot of the trees along our boulevard are intentionally neglected, and they're cut down because of various reasons. And then when I spoke to those store owners, they were like, well, I don't want my signage covered, or I don't want these homeless people hanging around, or I don't want these, loitering, or the trash, or all these objections came up. It was like bringing this up kind of made people a lot more excited. They started thinking, oh yeah, that would be kind of nice. Maybe we could even, would the vision of every spring having a uniform like bloom kind of started making people think of other things, like maybe we can kind of tie in with the Mardi Gras parade, because I think Sandra mentioned that there was at one point a Mardi Gras, a New Orleans thought, and I haven't gone that far past the few streets that I have surveyed, but Harold and Elle, they're right there and they have beautiful trees. So I'm not going past them yet, but I am going to the places that are very bleak and have dead stumps and saying, if the city is going to replace something, if they plant a pink trumpet tree, would you like not kill it? Would you like be happy that it was there? And they were like, yeah, maybe,
Right. So Sunmin had sent this out to a lot of committee chairs, so that's why we ended up talking about it at Elizabeth's committee meeting, in part because Sandra Paul, who used to be on our board and who's now running the
Jefferson Watch
Safety Committee, which is also growing. So she said, let's go to the meeting that's this week. It's the Environmental Committee. So I just want to kind of check in with every fellow officers. Should it be the Economic Development Committee? Should it be environmental? Reason environmental is because Elizabeth really wants to start doing figuring out how to do cleanups. So
Well, would this be
or it could
for
be
the trees, or would this be for
well,
the stuff?
it kind of became a larger conversation because we're
Because
aging businesses.
yeah, the
I
businesses.
started off at the economic development to try to figure out like, how to bring more foot traffic or customers or help the businesses.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of started as well, because I live in a corner where there's vacant lots. I've had, dealt with, homelessness situations. I've had cleanup, dumping. I've had a lot of businesses who are closed and they aren't opening because there's no business. There's no one's showing up and there's a lot of crime. So that's where it started for me. And then I was like, well, how do I, who do I talk to? And, to make this a more, hospitable and beautiful place where people want to go, as opposed to places where people.
Right. And I'm just being a bureaucrat here because I want to have the conversations open and transparent on agendas and talked about. So I don't care if it keeps showing up on everybody's agenda. Like this, like tonight, but so I just wanted to put it out there, and maybe I'll let Robbie and Elizabeth have a conversation, decide where we land, which committee.
I sent it out just for
It's fine. I'm just saying, but we can't put it on 5 agendas every month, of course. Well, we could, because you go to all the meetings. We could, just could.
I
But
think
maybe we
these meetings are a good place to start too. I know you've already picked one.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go there, but all of them have been canceled since I've been wanting to.
Oh,
Which committee?
the tree committee.
Yeah, but
He's knowledgeable about.
she is knowledgeable. She came to Elizabeth's meeting. But she's very focused on 2 other tree projects.
Yeah.
I see.
So, yeah, we're not trying to take anything away.
Yeah,
from
no,
the tree.
I know that she's done that before with other locations,
Right.
so I don't know how to get trees planted in it. It's like,
I think the cleanup is something that can go forward, maybe through economic development or environmental, but it's something that could be prioritized as a first step, because
Right.
the tree thing will require buy-in from businesses for,
Right.
if they're, and it also will require a lengthy process of the city. Even though they have that as a select tree, they actually have to approve that tree for that site. I mean, we went through that on our tree planting. The species changed several times at the behest of the city. So the cleanup idea, I think, is a great first step to kind of build that enthusiasm and bring up that awareness that there are things that within our community we can do to move that needle and attract more. So maybe that can go forward just in either economic development as an event, and then build on that.
Yeah, that one's Elizabeth's project, so we go through forward on environmental, but we all work together. I mean, in other words, we're not territorial. kings and alphas who are competing with each other, right?
Yeah, it was just a little nugget of a little thought of a like,
Yeah.
if in case anybody asks, like,
Yeah,
if there's a choice. And
right.
it got store owners really excited about it, and so I
Well,
was
we
like,
love the idea.
Well,
Okay,
I think that would be good for the economic, Rabia, what's her name? Rabia, because she's trying to
Robbie.
figure out about introduction, how to introduce herself to the businesses, and they can't always come out to us. So if we do the street cleaning and you communicating with the businesses, and then you could also talk about the bid, and all of that could be bridged through this community work going on down the boulevard. Because she doesn't know
Right.
where to start, and I think that'd be a good place to start.
Right, and speaking of bid, the Pico, BLQs, Byzantine Latino Quarter Pico bid, just had a meeting tonight. I think Robbie may have been able to get there, but it was a workshop for those local businesses on how to keep their streets clean.
nice.
You know, so I mean, Lonnie presented the workshop, and I'm wondering if they couldn't do, whether, even though Jefferson doesn't have an active bid, maybe we can get Lonnie to do a workshop for the Jefferson business owners anyway. I mean, it's another conversation. And they're also, you know, again, with so much overlap, they are also going to do a workshop again these are for Pico Boulevard, the little business owners, on how to compost. In other words, how not to throw so much food into the trash. So, you know, so it's interesting if we need to just start collaborating with all of these, because that bid is in half of it's in our footprint. So we just never collaborate with them. Okay, done. Anything else for Michael? Sandra? Oh, is that a goodbye? She's saying, please, goodbye.
Excellent.
Michael?
I think that's everything then, right? You can call this.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.